Alright, what is up you guys? I am here with a video that has been long awaited. The 2011 WWE pay-per-view DVD ranking. Or just pay-per-view ranking, whatever. Alright, so, dead last. You might have guessed it. We have Capital Punishment. Yeah, the cover alone says it all. I mean, what more is there to say about that? You have Kofi Kingston, Dolph Ziggler. You have Evan Bourne and Jack Swagger. Rey Mysterio and Punk. Alex Riley versus The Miz. And then, of course, Randy Orton and Christian. They had a great rivalry at this time. And this one just didn't... You know, it's kind of one of their weaker matches. And then you have John Cena versus R-Truth for the WWE title in the main event. Anyway, next up, we have Over the Limit 2011. You had Randy Orton versus Christian again. You had a Kiss My Foot match between Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler. Should have just been a Kiss My Ass match. And then we have Rey Mysterio and R-Truth. Oh, God. Then we have John Cena versus The Miz, I Quit match. Yeah, the cover's cool. Oh, God. Next up, 2011 was not a good year for WWE, guys. Not at all. This was a struggle to list because everything was so bad, except for, like, the top two. Next up, we have WrestleMania 27. As you all know, I fucking hate this WrestleMania. And, you know, it's hosted by The Rock. We have Edge versus Del Rio in the opener, which was an okay world title match. Rey Mysterio versus Cody Rhodes, which was a decent match. And then Randy Orton versus Punk, which felt like kind of just like a Raw main event. And then... You know, Triple H versus The Undertaker. You could say it's match of the night, but that's not really saying much. It's a great match. And then, of course, you have we have Snooki in action. That's fun. You have Jerry the King Lawler versus Michael Cole. Probably one of the worst things I've ever seen. So yeah, there's that too. And then The Miz versus John Cena in the main event. I love The Miz. I really do. But he just, him and John Cena is not quite WrestleMania main event material. And I hate saying that because I love The Miz. And I loved him back then when he cashed in and won the WWE title. Next up we have Vengeance 2011. I will give this show one compliment. You ready? In the co-main event, Mark Henry versus Big Show, which I thought was very predictable. They were going to break the ring. Everyone kind of knew it was going to happen. But the fact that they had Del Rio and John Cena main event in a last man standing match with the ring broken, that's creative. So I'll give him that. And it's kind of like they're trying to swerve you. They're like, oh, they're not going on last, so they're not going to break the ring, which they ended up doing anyway. You have Triple H and CM Punk versus The Miz and R-Truth. You have Dolph Ziggler and Zack Ryder, Christian and Sheamus, Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. Overall, Cena's face says it all. He didn't enjoy it. Neither did I. So, yeah, Vengeance 2011. You know, and I hated, with a passion, when Triple H came back to just bury CM Punk. And this was the aftermath of that. So, yeah. Just wonderful. Speaking of burials, here we go. Triple H and CM Punk was a marquee match here, and it was non-title, of course. No DQ match. Ooh. So great. And then we have Randy Orton versus Mark Henry, the most exciting world title match you can possibly think of. No offense to them, too. I like them both, but they don't have good chemistry together. It's kind of how it is. Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase, IC title match. You have Air Boom versus The Miz and R-Truth. God, I hate 2011. And your main event was Del Rio and John Cena, and that match really hasn't aged well, has it? Look at that face. That's the face of a man going to prison. So yeah, he just I like Alberto Del Rio, and then he just really fell off the planet a little bit. Which, everyone has their problems. Don't get me wrong. I have problems. Everyone has problems. But yeah, I liked him as a wrestler. We'll say that much. Next up, we have Hell in a Cell 2011. We had John Cena, CM Punk, and Del Rio in a triple threat Hell in a Cell match, which was decent. It was a good main event. And then we have Mark Henry versus Randy Orton in the most exciting Hell in a Cell match of all time. We have Sin Cara versus Sin Cara. Sheamus versus Christian. You have Cody Rhodes and Morrison, Kelly Kelly and Beth Phoenix, because that match had to happen 10 times that year. But yeah, 2 Hell in a Cell matches this time around. Just an awful DVD cover. That kind of says it all right there. We're still not into the good pay-per-views yet, which should really show you where we're at in wrestling at that point in 2011. Yeah, it's just bad. But anyway. Yeah, 2 Hell in a Cell matches. Neither of them, crazily delivered, especially the world title. But the main event, it's decent at best. And, it's just... people wanted Punk. And it's just... you were kind of slowly building up to that Survivor Series match. Next up, we have Royal Rumble 2011. You have the Fatal 4-Way match for the Divas title. Gotta love the Divas title. You have The Miz and Randy Orton for the WWE title. Again, no chemistry there either. And then we have Edge versus Dolph Ziggler in a surprisingly good World Heavyweight Championship match. But, 2 great talents in there. They should be able to deliver. So, and they did. And then we, of course, had the 40-man Royal Rumble match, which was, to me, a failure. Del Rio lost in the opening match at WrestleMania, so really what the hell was the point in putting him over here? There isn't one. It was stupid. But yeah. Whatever. And you think they would have waited till 2012 to do the 40-man Rumble, because that was the 25th anniversary of it. Next up, we're getting into some decent pay-per-views, I guess. Survivor Series 2011. Of course, we have Mark Henry and Big Show. You have some, a decent elimination match. This was at Madison Square Garden. I think this is the last pay-per-view they had there. So yeah, let's get back to Madison Square Garden. I always love when they go there. And they actually had a full set as well, which you normally don't see in Madison Square Garden. I prefer them coming out of the little doorway. But whatever. We had Del Rio and CM Punk. Of course, CM Punk would start his title reign here. And John Cena and The Rock versus The Miz and R-Truth was your marquee match. Did anyone want to see that? Anyone? Not me. So yeah, there's that. And, it's basically just making a joke out of Miz and R-Truth. It's another stepping stone going on to your main event of WrestleMania. Next up, we have Elimination Chamber 2011. Kind of a surprisingly good pay-per-view. We have The Miz versus Jerry the King Lawler for the WWE title. I don't remember why, but it happened. Kofi Kingston and Del Rio. You have 2 chamber matches. One being the world title. We had Edge, Big Show, Kane, Drew McIntyre, Rey Mysterio, and Wade Barrett. And then, of course, you had the number 1 contenders elimination chamber match. Gee, I wonder who's going to win this one. John Cena, Randy Orton, John Morrison, R-Truth, CM Punk, and King Sheamus. Because remember, he won King of the Ring. Anyway, yeah, 2... an elimination chamber match can only be so good in the PG era. But 2 decently good, at best, chamber matches. Great cover. I always really like that. And, it's, I think both matches were very predictable. because obviously Cena was going on to face The Miz at WrestleMania, and we all knew that. And I really didn't see Edge losing the world title a few months before WrestleMania. Or only a month before WrestleMania. Next up, we have TLC 2011. I was supposed to go to this pay-per-view, and glad I didn't. I don't know why I didn't go. Maybe money, I don't know. But, yeah, it was okay. There is, I don't know. There's not really anything to write home about. But for me, this is a suitable TLC pay-per-view for sure. You have Randy Orton and Wade Barrett in a tables match. You have Cody Rhodes versus Booker T Intercontinental title match for some reason. Dolph Ziggler versus Zack Ryder. You have the Sledgehammer ladder match. Kevin Nash and Triple H. That was kind of your big blow-off to Kevin Nash and his black hair and black beard coming back. And then we have CM Punk, Del Rio versus The Miz in a good triple threat TLC match, even though it says triple threat match on the back of the DVD. Is that a misprint, or does everyone else's say that as well? I don't know. But overall, like I said, it's a suitable TLC pay-per-view. Nothing to write home about. And now we get into the actual good pay-per-views. The last three. That's not how that should be. SummerSlam 2011. Obviously this isn't Money in the Bank 2011. CM Punk and John Cena. I think they easily could have made this match. I don't think they could have made it better, but they could have made it just as good if they really wanted to. Which obviously they didn't want to. But it's still a good main event for sure. This time you have Triple H as the special guest referee. You, of course, have Kevin Nash and his little fuckery coming in. And Christian versus Randy Orton. Great blow-off to their rivalry here. It was a no-holds-barred match. And it was just probably their best match together for sure. So that was great. Daniel Bryan and Wade Barrett. You have the thrown in there 6-man tag match with Morrison, Kingston, and Mysterio versus The Miz, R-Truth, and Alberto Del Rio. That's called the I Want My Pay-Per-View Check match. And then we have Kelly versus Beth Phoenix again. So yeah. Overall, kind of the upper card is where you want to be for this one. But yeah, it's, like I said, it's not Money in the Bank main event-wise, but it's still good. Next up, we have a pay-per-view that not many people would expect to see up here on this list. But Extreme Rules 2011. Extreme Rules, I've always found it either really delivers or really fucking fails. This one, to me, really delivered. You have CM Punk and Randy Orton in the Last Man Standing match. You have Christian and Alberto Del Rio in a ladder match for the World Heavyweight Championship. I'm a huge Christian fan, so this was awesome. And yeah, it only happened because Edge had to retire, but Christian was supposed to get in a rivalry with Edge around this time anyway. That's something a lot of people don't know, which WrestleMania was kind of setting that up. So, it's great to see Christian have the world title. Oh, God. You have the Tag Team Country Whipping match. Fuck me. You have Jerry Lawler and Jim Ross versus Michael Cole and Jack Swagger. Oh, man. You have Rey Mysterio and Cody Rhodes in a Falls Count Anywhere match. And then you have the Steel Cage Triple Threat match. The Miz, John Cena, and John Morrison. Which he, of course, had John Cena gaining the title there. Something's happening out there. I don't know. But, yeah. It's kind of, to me, Extreme Rules, if you're going to do a gimmick pay-per-view like that, the first one after WrestleMania, I think, is always the best place, because WrestleMania, you have all these matches, all these rivalries, and then Extreme Rules lets you elevate those matches with stipulations. So, like I said, I don't like gimmick pay-per-views, but if you're going to do them, this is an example on how to do them right. And then finally, obviously, number one, Money in the Bank 2011. And this pay-per-view is just gold. Liquid gold. Oh, man. So we have Big Show and Mark Henry. Kelly versus Brie Bella. That sounds like a disaster in the making right there. And Randy Orton and Christian. It was the stipulation where Christian couldn't get Orton couldn't get disqualified, and then of course Christian regained the world title out of disqualification. Two very suitable Money in the Bank ladder matches, very good, and I liked the winners as well. I mean, I'm a Bryan Danielson fan, so what can I say? And then Del Rio, I liked him at the time. And then the main event. I mean, you can't really say enough good things about John Cena versus CM Punk. The build. I stopped watching wrestling late 2010, around the Nexus burial, so a little mid to late 2010. I was like, fuck this, I'm done. And the pipe bomb incident actually got me interested and motivated me to watch again. So, yeah, you know, if it's something that's the case for a lot of people, you know, very casual fans or people that just weren't watching anymore, they tuned in for that. And they wanted to see what happened next. I can't tell you the last time that's happened in WWE. That something was must see. Yeah, I can't tell you the last time something was must see. So, you know, this was a big deal. And the match itself, is it a 5-star match? I don't know. Maybe. But storyline-wise, yes. Fuck yeah, it is. And, you know, seeing CM Punk grab the belt, run into the crowd, and throw that title in the fridge that night, it was awesome. It was like all the pieces of the puzzle aligned up perfectly for him to have his moment. The crowd was hot, and, you know, that just, you can't get any better than that. So, yeah. Number 1, Money in the Bank 2011, obviously. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Give me your list and thoughts down below. For now, peace out.